Welcome to season 2 of Overtime on Inferno, your weekly roundup of all the big stories in CSGO in less time than Hunden's telenovela. A quick reminder to rate and review us at the end of the episode, it really helps us. I am Logan, this is Aizyesque. On today's episode, we spend a really long time talking about Hunden, as well
Too
as
long.
Rez's 4-year contract, Gary being the best player in North America, and football goalies. Roll the intro.
We're back.
It took us like a month and a half to get back.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a different person. I've aged significantly.
You've grown more like goatee.
It's actually as long as it was before. I've just shaved the rest of it, so it's more like noticeable. I'm really not convinced by it. I just got like bored shaving. I cut myself, as you can see here. Like I cut myself shaving, and I was like, fuck it, this'll do. And I'm really not convinced. I might just have a point like the robot devil from Futurama.
Oh, you're gonna be Bender? No, not
Or
Bender.
like Bad Bender. I can't remember what his name is.
Oh, Flexer.
Yeah. I just want the pointy bit.
Just the pointy bit.
Or I might just shave this entirely. I'm not sure yet. It's kind of in a we're not fully open yet, so I can kind of experiment a bit. You know what I mean?
I've moved across the state. I've moved across the entirety of New York. I'm now in wintry cold Buffalo, where it's a balmy like 80 degrees today, which is like 28 degrees Celsius.
Nice.
27?
That is warm.
It's a little warm today. It was pouring this morning. I walked to work this morning, got absolutely soaked in like half-mile walk. It's great. Absolutely fantastic. By fantastic, I mean terrible.
Yeah, American weather confuses me because like we just assume everything is warm there, and it's obviously that's not the case. It's a massive country. Like obviously there's quite a big difference between places, but it's just like it's all warm over there.
I mean, the saying about Buffalo weather is if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes because it'll change again in 5 minutes. So
that's nice. The only place that's famous for its weather here is Manchester, and that's because it always rains.
It's the stereotypical English thing that all of us Americans get, just always raining.
Yeah, Manchester, it's always raining. Everywhere else, it's quite. It's pretty. What's the word I'm looking for? Inconsistent. It's September here, so normally it started getting cold, and it's like red hot, hotter than it was for most of summer. Yeah, so I mean, who knows? It'll be like freezing cold in a week.
Oh yeah, we have a thing called fake summer here during the spring, where it gets really really hot, and then it's gonna get cold for like a month, and then it'll get warm again. It's terrible. Yep. I hate it. All right. Speaking of things I hate, Hunden.
Brilliant segue. Absolutely fantastic.
A lot has happened since we last talked. And we both decided that we want to talk about Hunden, but we really want to talk about coaches in general. So we're going to bring you up to speed on the Hunden conversation. And then we're going to talk about coaches and how Valve does coaching and how Counter-Strike coaches exist. So I assume where we last left off, Hunden was... We knew that Hunden had leaked a strat book to Astralis.
He claimed it was just,
anti-strats.
Just anti-strats. Heroic which very much dispute that. Aizyesque dispute that.
Everyone disputes that.
Yeah. I mean, it's very difficult to cover the story because, the investigation's ongoing. And there are bits of it that are unclear because different people say different things. So I'm like quite careful to not be like libelous about Hunden. So the one thing I will say that isn't libelous is he's a wanker. Like he's just clearly a wanker. Like there's just there's no doubt there.
So
he is a wanker.
We're gonna speak about exactly only what has been put into the public via either Hunden statements, heroic statements, Aizyesque statements, or our general shitposting. That's where we're getting our information from here. So first thing that happened was Hunden came out and said that during the Aizyesque investigation into his anti-strat leaking, that Aizyesque never asked Hunden for a statement.
Oh no. Anyway.
Which, okay, sure.
You didn't ask me for a statement on why I was sharing this with another team. Nobody gives a fuck, mate.
Yeah, really. And then, but the bigger bombshell, right? Because there were two sets of bombshells on this one. The first one was the anti-strat leaking, right? Actually, I guess there was three sets. There was the original coaching bug, then there was the anti-strat leaking, and then there was the Hunden has now said that the entire team knew about the coaching bug and that certain players actually helped him do more on the coaching bug.
Yeah. Which is going to be very difficult to prove, even though we kind of all assume that
we kind of all knew that, but
of course they knew. How could you not know?
If you didn't know, I'd have more questions. Honestly, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, Hunden took the fall for them because he used the bug when they knew about it.
Yeah,
but this could all have just been avoided. You just didn't hire the guy who cheated. It's literally so easy. You could have all just he could have gone somewhere else. He could have you could have just burned that bridge. Wouldn't have mattered. He'd have taken the fall for it. He'd have lost a couple months. Would have been fine.
He could have gone to Hard Legion. That's a great landing spot for him there.
We could have just gone to Astralis and nobody would have noticed. Everyone had gone, oh well, Astralis have employed a guy who cheated. Happens.
So Hunden released information that said that I believe it was Tessus and Nico both 100% knew what was going on, and there's chat logs for Nico, and then there's just kind of a story for Tessus, which kind of checks out due to the fact that Hunden was stuck somewhere where he had to be boosted there, and someone had to boost him there, I believe was what was going on there. So that's a little odd. And then there were documents, Heroic came out after this. This has been also, Heroic sued Hunden during this.
Yep.
For breach of contract and about 7,000 other things.
Yeah, they sued him for the leaking of the strat book. I think that.
Yes.
I think it was leaking. They said he leaked the strat book, so we're suing him because it's treated as a company secret.
Yeah, leaking, and I think it was non-disclosed materials, something like that.
Yeah.
And then Heroic came out after Hunden started talking about the other teammates that they came out exactly with what he shared, described documents in detail.
Yeah.
And then Hunden then released the said evidence of the coaching bug. Previously to this, the Tessus thing happened here. And then there's still more. I swear we're close. Tessus Heroic had a statement somewhere in here. This is the Heroic statement. Okay, so Heroic had a statement, right? They had a press conference, and they decided to answer 0 questions about this.
I don't necessarily blame them for that.
I don't blame them either, but why hold a press conference?
Well, I mean, it's probably you have. I think every team does pre.
Was that? Was it the? Oh yeah, it was pre-playoffs.
I think so.
Okay, yeah.
But I don't know. You can just give no comment answers. That you can just say, oh, I don't want to talk about that. There's an ongoing investigation. But I mean, they're not exactly. I don't know what information people thought they were going to divulge. You go, yeah, actually, we did it. Our bad. But they're not going to come out and say Hunden's a wanker like I am, are they?
No, they probably won't. But we got Tessus coming out and saying that there's a lot of stuff going on right now, and we're gonna keep playing 100%. But
they topped their group, didn't they? As well.
Yeah.
ProLeague.
Oh, they still.
They didn't even need a fucking coach. Why would they even bother?
They won Cologne without a coach.
Yeah, you don't even need one. Just fucking do it by yourself.
And then Aizyesque brought in their investigation into Heroic players into the coaching bug, because how many years has it been now that we've been talking about the coaching bug?
It's oh god, it's just I like nearly every player whose coach used the bug probably had a good idea it was happening.
Yeah.
It's just whether or not you can prove that, and whether or not there's any vested interest in proving it. If you just like cut ties with the coach and say sorry, you're the fall guy here, they'd probably be a little bit miffed, but for the sake of their own career, they probably wouldn't say anything,
Yeah.
and everyone would be happy. If you then employ the guy who cheated, you employ the fall
No.
guy.
Employ him and put a giant billboard up of him.
Yeah, I mean that was just like we should get on to the fact that they then said in their most recent statement, we don't support cheaters. This is just a flagrant lie.
Yep.
An absolutely flagrant lie. How do you ever think you're going to get away? Like, they just got loads of people just posting the billboard and then saying Hunden is better. How fucking...
Oh my god.
How tone deaf do you have to be to say we do not support cheaters when it's a statement about the coach you employed after he cheated? You cannot be this dense. Like, it's not possible. I have to assume it was just like a mistranslation or something, or like not necessarily a mistranslation, but like maybe a slight misunderstanding about the connotations of what they were saying. We don't support cheaters. You actively support. You paid the wages of a cheater. What do you mean?
For months.
Yeah, and then re-employed him.
Oh. So after all of this, Ian Smith, who's the ESA commissioner, very nice guy from everything that we've seen. He's a very likable guy.
He's like, likable in that he doesn't seem to accept any bullshit.
Yeah, no, which is perfect for his job, which is being the internet, the video game police.
Yeah, he's bully hunters.
He's Dog the Bounty Hunter, but for video games.
Yeah. Dog as well. Hunden means dog, doesn't it?
Does it?
He's Dog the Dog Hunter. Yeah, Hunden is Danish for the dog. That's why every time somebody translates one of those articles from Danish, his name translates as the dog, because Hunden means the dog, or just dog.
Okay. Well, thank you for today's Danish language lesson.
It's about the only word I know in Danish.
But Ian Smith came out and talked on HLTV Confirmed for like the fourth time. He's been a frequent on there about this investigation and everything that was happening in it, and he did a really good job summing everything up. Would highly recommend reading the HLTV article that went with it, if not just watching the show yourself, because it was very good.
Don't watch any other podcasts, as is the only one.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's a good point. Just read the article. Just know that it came from something that seems to think that it's a podcast, but this is the only podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Let's talk about coaches now, because here's my bigger picture question about Heroic, right? They went and they won Cologne without Hunden. Okay? They did well without Hunden. So what is the coach doing in this case that is providing such benefit to the team that they continue to win without? And it wasn't like against terrible competition or anything. I mean, they beat Gambit in the finals for Cologne, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like it's bad competition or anything. It's just they're still playing really well. Is it the fact that Hunden and coaches in general, right, like put all this work together ahead of time and then just like go do your thing? Or is it maybe that the Heroic team is just really good on its own and Cadian basically acts as a coach to begin with, and maybe Hunden wasn't that important to start with? There's a lot of questions I have involving this.
There's probably a couple points. One is the one that, they put a lot of work in as preparation rather than anything else. So, like, once the prep is done, if he leaves, you still have access to that prep. You still have access to the system that he built. It's why, for example, I don't think Apex could have built a system necessarily as well as Alex did for Vitality. But once Alex is gone, that system's still in place. He can sort of manipulate it and change the way things work. So I think a lot of it is to do with preparation. But also, coaches can act as a mediator as well. So if there's any sort of disagreement or discussion, the coach acts as somebody who can mediate the conversation, find common ground, or say, this is the way we're doing it, or okay, this is, I agree with, he can actually control that discussion rather than just letting it be a full blown argument and turning into a resentment, because that is a legitimate problem. It's a competition between top level players, young
Yeah.
male adults. Like, there's going to be tensions,
I mean,
and being able to mediate that is quite important.
it's even questionable on adults at one point. Like Tessis is
Yeah,
like
well,
eight,
yeah,
and I don't mean that in like a negative way or anything. I just mean like Tessis is like 18, 19. Like
yeah. No, yeah, true.
Refresh
You're right.
is like 19, 20, somewhere in there. Like
Yeah,
they're other than Cadian, it's a really, really young group of people, right? It's like
yeah,
uh,
yeah.
at least
There's a
they're
lot of ego, I'd
all
imagine.
well, and not even that. At least they're all Danish and in Denmark together and that kind of stuff. Like I'm putting myself in like Obo's shoes for a second of when he was in Complexity, right? Like you're an 18-year-old living far away. Like there's a lot of other stuff that goes on there, and we saw what that happened with Complexity. But like the coach provides a lot of really good things for the team, right? I think we can both agree on that. I mean, they help in practices with deciding what to do. They are able to, in the middle of the game, change completely how a team works and how the team is thinking at the time. And they really do act as like your sixth player, as like your IGL's IGL.
In theory, yeah. I think the best coaches do. I think some of them are quite literally just a motivator and team manager more than anything else.
And I think for some teams that's not a bad thing either.
No,
I think
no.
it depends on the team. I think the most famous version, one of the, like, not most famous, but like the biggest one of those is Adren for Liquid. I think that, like, and this is me talking out of my ass. I'm like to be very, very clear here. From like what we see externally, it's not Adren's coming up with the huge strats and stuff. It's Fallen coming with the huge strats, and Adren is there to keep the team on track and make sure that the team is doing the right things at the right time and that kind of stuff. And he's not there to be the hugest brain in all of Counter-Strike. He's here to make sure things run correctly.
Although he probably does have a good mind for the game. He was an IGL himself, wasn't he? So,
he almost certainly does, but like,
yeah, I mean, he was a quite good in-game leader as well.
Except for the fact where he got, jumping killed by Colzera.
Well, yeah, but the fact that Liquid were even
in that position
in the first place is testament to his ability.
Sorry, it's not the Colzera play. It's Taco's 1K from Cat. My bad.
Yeah, Taco's best kill ever. It's so funny he stole the ace from me. Like, it is quality.
It comes up on Twitter like once a year of just like Taco's perspective of that, and I watch it every time knowing fully what it is. It's like on HLTV or on Reddit, right? When you're scrolling through and someone says like something about a liege and you see just like a link there and you know it's going to be the picture of a liege smiling with the green screen.
I don't know where that picture came from. It's just like appeared. I'm convinced it's like a CGI picture. There's no way it's a real picture of him.
But the thing is like, that's what the picture is going to be, and you click on it anyway. Like it's going there.
I tend to not frequent the HLTV forums. It's just
neither do I, but I know it's there. So
it's just gonna like the problem is you're enticed to click on things that you know will upset you. Like, you'll read something really stupid. You're like, I'm being baited, but I'm still I know I'm being baited, but I'm still angry. Like they just post some absolute nonsense. They're like, you don't believe it. I don't believe it. Why am I angry? It's frustrating.
Let's talk about Valve and coaches for a minute. Let's get back on topic for a minute.
Valve hate coaches, and this is hardly going to make it better, is it?
No, and I really
had a point.
Like Valve disliked coaches when Valve disliked coaches, right? And then they took coaches out of the ability to talk whenever during the game, right? Which put more emphasis on IGLs. Which I'm gonna be real here, in terms of Counter-Strike in general, that was a good move.
I like that.
Putting more emphasis on the players, making IGL as an actual IGL, right? Like you have to have people that have brain in the game, right? You can't just have That was a good move. But it was the beginning of Valve kind of turning the cold shoulder on coaches, which continued with now in a major they can't even be on stage with you. It's like it's become very similar to League, right? Where in League the coaches come out during the picks and bans, they do the picks and bans, and then they go backstage.
Yeah.
And then they're there.
Which I don't necessarily
I don't have an issue with. It's just
I like there being emphasis on players.
Counter-Strike has had a very different approach to everything from the beginning, right? Like compare Counter-Strike and League of Legends, right? You have a franchise circuit versus a whoever the hell wants to do anything circuit, right? You have 12-man rosters. You've got zero, like just the five in League. Like, you've got regions around the world that only compete against each other. You have literally, we have Australians competing against Americans any day of the week. That kind of stuff happens all the time in Counter-Strike, and it's what makes it really, really cool to have Counter-Strike. And it feels like they're just kind of going towards the like coaches are not as much of a part of the team. Which, you know what? When they took coaches out off of the IGL role, right? A couple of years ago, we all said this was a terrible idea. Now you and I have just said that was probably a pretty good thing. Maybe in 3 years we go, well, maybe that was probably a good thing. But
Yeah, I mean, I say I don't mind taking less emphasis from the coach. I mean, I guess it depends from team to team, right? But it's very difficult to tell what a coach does from the outside, and I understand Val's suspicion. And maybe they had a point because a lot of coaches cheated. This one's suing his own team, or like it's like maybe they had a point. Maybe this was a bad idea.
I want to go back and I want to find out the first time we found out about Hunden being involved with the coaching bug. I feel like we need a day counter for how many days we've been talking about Hunden and the coach bug.
Well, that's the thing. He was like the big shock, wasn't he?
He
like
was
all
the
the
big
rest.
shock.
You were like, well, all right, fine. Like I didn't expect it from you, but whatever. Whereas Hunden, it was like, not Hunden. Come on, he would never do that. He says that to be the worst of the fucking lot.
I think second worst. I think the guy from Machino Gun.
Okay, yeah, no, he's a tosser. But I mean, at least he's not fucking
big name. Okay, let's move on to the execute.
Yeah, before I wind myself up into a frenzy again.
So obviously we haven't been around for a month and a half. Spoiler, we actually recorded an episode halfway through August that I used the wrong mic for and sounded really, really terrible because the mic was up here the whole time. It was atrocious. So we're going to go through the important things that have happened in the last month in a very quick fashion. Starting with most recent, going until semi-recent.
Yeah.
And by semi-recent, I mean like all of these things happened in like the last week and a half.
Pretty much. I mean, not a lot happened over player break because
it was
kind of disappointing. Small. I was hoping for more spicy moves.
All right, let's start with today's news, which is that Singularity, the team known for, well, not really much.
I was going to say, where are you going with this one?
It used to be a Danish roster. They've signed Guardian, formerly of Navi.
Guardian.
Yes, that Guardian,
that
and
one,
also Seized, and yes,
also that one
Seized. But those are two very different that ones that we just said.
Yeah. I suppose that's true. I've never heard of any of the other three players.
No,
I just checked. I was like, do I remember any of these? Clax, Norway, and Dilades, D1 Lades.
I mean, the average age of those players is 19.
Yeah, so, that tends to be how people build these sort of teams. You get two of the older heads and give them like three like sharpshooters and just like let them train.
Didn't C's just like get banned or something?
Oh, you've lost me now. I don't know.
No, I might be going insane. It's almost certain I'm going insane. In fact, actually,
C's just only 26. Like I would have thought he was older than that. I mean, I know he was relatively young on Navi, but he's only 26. Like that's really not that old.
Quick side note about Navi. I know that we've talked about it, but someone brought up on Twitter the other day that how has no one talked about the fact that like Flamey has been fully benched and like never.
I said at the time he was benched.
No, I know. We said he was benched, but it's just like
benched.
Everyone was like, "Oh yeah, he's gonna sub and everything," and it's just like I feel like he's been sent to the Russian gulag or something. It's like
he's off like training on his own. I don't know. I wonder if they like when they go out for dinner, he's not allowed out or not. Maybe they don't invite him out anymore.
It's everyone had to block him from their phones.
They've got a group chat called Everyone But Flamey. There's that thing, isn't there? Like everyone has a. I hope this is bullshit, but it's like everyone has a group chat with at least one of their friends. One of the people in their friend group missed out, and if you don't know about it, you're that friend. Now I don't know about it, So I might be that friend.
uh, I may or may not be that person. I may or may also be that person.
Yeah, I don't know.
um, let's talk about complexity. Complexity had three different things happen. First is they removed rush
Yep,
for S attack. That happened very early player break.
it did. Yeah,
It was a weird move. We were all
big
very
size
confused about it.
downgrade.
Yeah,
Like Rush is a big,
Rush is
like
a big guy. Yeah,
he's a strong boy.
yeah.
Estag's a
S
bit
attack's
skinnier.
like
Like
yeah. I mean, they've got blame on that team. They've got all the
yeah, I know, but
largeness
I
that they
like
need.
if you're gonna call yourself the Juggernaut, I feel like you need to have like at least 3 or 4 blames. Like you need to be a big team.
I mean,
Losing Rush,
they've got
yeah,
config too. But speaking about config, he broke his wrist.
yeah, he did.
um,
Probably trying
um,
to look like Blame F.
pro- but because config has broken his wrist, it's being healed. There, I think they were saying like December or something like that for him to be back.
I'm not sure on the time frame.
It's a decent amount of time. It's not like a 5 minute time. He had surgery last week. I think it was last Tuesday. Um, with all of that though, they have decided their sub for ESL Pro League has been NATO Safix, which has gone well up
Yeah, he
until
did
they
really
got
well.
knocked out by Vitality. But went well. And now their new sub is a guy that you might know. His name is called Zera.
Never heard of him.
Nah,
No.
HLTV top like player 2016.
2 years in a row. Yeah, it was 2 years in a row.
Oh, but you've never heard of him.
No. I just looked him up. I had to look him
Okay.
up.
Okay.
No idea.
Yeah, so Coldzera, the like literally just disappeared off the face of the earth Brazilian man, is
They
back
say
on.
he's the new Guerri. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that in a minute. um, disappeared off the face of the earth. Is coming back. Do you know what do you know what the first match complexity plays in Blast is?
It's FaZe, isn't it?
It has
Coldzera's
absolutely
playing against FaZe, first game I could play. That's so hype. That's so good. I love complexity. Like their team makes no sense. Like they have like some of the best players in the world, and they're just like really underwhelming. But I mean, that's kind of my thing. It's like just teams that should be much better than they actually are. So I mean, I like complexity. They're good fun to watch. They don't make any sense. They should be really good.
Also we're gonna plug a quick thing here. Harry, our social media guy and frequent writer of TLDR newsletter, wrote an insanely good article about Blame F and complexity, and you should read that article.
Yeah, his handle is NeroCS, I think, with a 0.
Yeah, it was legitimately a good article, and then they made the move for Coldzera, and it made the article better.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very good.
All right, we have 4 other things that have happened. Double Zero Nation or 00 Nation. I think it's 00 Nation.
I don't know.
Basically, Oplano finally got signed to an org.
Yeah,
It took
they'll probably just keep being called Oplano, to be honest.
Let's be
Oplano is a
real.
cool name. I liked Oplano as a name. Didn't like them as a team, but I liked the name.
No, but the name was good. RPK retired, as probably many of us could have guessed, but
that was
it became official. But the retirement announcement was great because it was just like him saying, "Yeah, I'm retiring, but also look at my brand new line of merch."
Yeah, I mean, fine, I guess. Like, it seems like the worst time to bring out merch.
Bro, he's got late tank stuff. He's got tanks over everything.
Yeah, I mean, he should have just done tank tops. Like, that's clearly that's the right answer. Just
they
tank
probably
tops.
don't call them that in France. It's probably called something
true.
stupid in French,
right.
So
yeah,
they wouldn't have gotten across the point. Rez did a thing. So a couple years ago, we all made fun of Furia for all signing 5-year contracts. So Rez saw that we didn't like 5-year, so we signed a 4-year contract.
Understandable. I think signing a long contract with an IP is an interesting idea, but it's not my contract.
I actually, so here's the thing. From like, as someone who's about to graduate college in like 5-6 months, right, in May, right, that is great because that's 4 years of guaranteed job.
Yeah,
As
no,
long
no,
as
true.
you're still a good player.
I don't think Rez would struggle to find a job though.
Neither do I, but still, that's 4 years of guaranteed job in a
Yeah,
field
no,
that
you are
you
right.
don't get a guaranteed job very often. So,
No,
like,
true.
good on Rez for getting paid for
Oh,
four.
oh
Like,
yeah,
that's
security wise, great idea.
great on Rez. Questionable on Nip.
I think, yeah, I mean, fine.
I think it's just like
I think Rez is really good, so, but
so do
I
I. But
don't
like,
think he's getting a better team than NIP at the moment. So
if the other thing is like, if I was Nip, why do I ever want to commit 4 years to a player?
yeah, that's true.
And only one player. Like at least when Fury did, they committed the entire team to that. They said
And
we are
they benched
going
one of them 6
all
months later.
in. So we are all in on this.
We're
And
all in on Abel J.
to be fair, that team has actually worked out pretty well.
Other
Like
than
the
Abel J.
well, yeah, but like of the 5 people that they signed that 5-year contract, 4 of them are still on the team.
Yeah. I fucking love Fury. I think that 5-year deal was an idiotic decision from everyone involved, but I fucking love this too. Like watching the plays is so much fun.
But we're coming back to Fury. Hold on.
I can't contain myself.
Team South exists, which I assume is your new favorite team.
Yeah, they're up there with Team Spirit. Oh, again, we'll get to them later. They've been pretty dog shit recently. Yeah, no. So Team South is MSL's new project. He rejected my team name of DreamHack Stockholm Syndrome, and went with Team South instead. A little bit disappointing, but what can you do?
That's probably better, but also I love Team South.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good name. It's a bit nominative determinism, though, isn't it? Like you call yourself Team South, there's only one direction you're going.
Well, I mean, I guess here's the thinking, right? They called themselves North for a while, and they only went down. So now if they call themselves South, maybe they'll only go up.
Yeah, that's true. The problem with Team South at the moment is it's like impossible to watch any of their games because they're playing the most tin pot fucking qualifier I've ever seen, and nobody streams them. You have to like follow it on like ESEA or something.
Wasn't that the same with the last team that not MSL was on? But
yeah, but most Hyenas games were at like tier 3 tournaments or something, so you could at least watch it. Like somebody would stream it. These you have to like. I have to contact casters and say, "Do you want to stream this?" And they still don't. It's miserable.
All right, let's move into the post plant. We're going to talk about current things now. ProLeague. It exists. Groups are over. Playoffs are going on now. Fnatic Liquid game is literally going on as we're recording this. Which reminds me we need to do a very quick important score check.
In case you didn't know, Logan is a Liquid fan, so he's quite invested. We delayed this recording a couple times. One of them was because he was invested in the Liquid game and needed to eat his sandwich. So,
hey, the sandwich was the important part.
Talk to me about the sandwich.
It was turkey. It was pepper jack. It was provolone in between 2 slices of white bread with some mayo and some honey mustard, and I put it in a.
You were doing. I mean, turkey, not the best meat, but I can deal with it when there's cheese involved. You can fix anything.
Yeah.
I can't deal with mayo.
I put it all together in a pan, and got it all like a little melty on it. That was my sandwich today.
Solid. I mean, other than the mayo, very solid sandwich.
Okay. It's 22-21. It's gone to 3 overtimes.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, we will minimize that for a moment. Pro League. Let's talk about Gary being literally the best player in North America.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This guy was Furious coach. They had to put him in because they dropped because
they officially dropped Junior, so they picked up Honda. Drop and Honda, so they picked up Drop, and then Drop couldn't get there yet. Drop is a player name in this case. Sorry,
it's
Drop is a player, but because of transfer rules, he couldn't get to Europe and something. So basically, Gary had to play.
Yeah, they didn't want another case of the Brazilian health officials running onto the server and abducting people. I don't know if that joke works for you. I don't know if you saw the Brazil-Argentina game the other day.
I did not.
There was a football game between Brazil and Argentina, and some players came from England to play for Argentina, and just didn't tell the health officials the right information. They were told beforehand, look, you can't play. You're not allowed because you're not allowed to be in the country. they played them anyway because I assume I don't know, Argentina are just insane. And then Brazilian health officials stopped the game 4 minutes in by running onto the pitch to try and deport them. So I figured that's what would happen if they
Oh
tried
my
to play drop, is they would join the server and start like team killing him or something.
Basically, they played Gary, and then Gary absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, like this isn't a case of like, you know, when Region played against G2 and they won this, like they won even with the Region
Sydney.
bottom fragging. He was like 17-4 on the one.
He top fragged the first game.
It's absolutely insane. Like, why is he a coach?
Like,
it just doesn't make sense.
It was against Entropic, so I'm pretty sure they lost the match, but it didn't matter because Gary, he like top fragged map 1 or something like that.
Yeah, like,
he was 23-16 on Overpass.
It's mental. I mean,
against Entropic, which is a good team.
Yeah, Entropic are decent, but not bad at all.
Like it was impressive. And then I think against Nip, he like did really well too.
It wasn't. I think that was the ancient game where he was 17-4 at some point.
Yeah, he was 23-19 on the ancient game. Like it was so dumb. He's just.
Oh god.
But he's the best player in North America. It's just not
love
close.
That. Like, I always think if I was a coach, the one thing I'd love to do is have to sub in for, like, that'd be so much fun. Like having to sub in, there's no pressure on you to do well because you're not expected to do well, and you get to play Counter-Strike against the world-class players. And he does that, and then just fucking shits all over. He
just absolutely
wins. Easy. Why can't you do this? So good.
All right. Let's talk about what happened in each of these groups really quickly. I want to talk about surprises about EPL groups. So I'm going to go through. I think I've got the surprises that you're going to say for all of them anyway. So I'm going to say them and then add if you've got any. Group A was Ents making it to playoffs.
Yeah. Hades is just a monster.
And 2-0ing Forza today in playoffs.
Yeah. Forza, who we'll come on to, I'm sure, in Group B.
Yep. Spirit going 1-4.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Spirit need to work on their map pool. Their map pool's really shallow. They're like god tier. I think I wrote somewhere else that like picking Dust 2 into them is like challenging Stockfish to a game of chess. But picking Inferno into them is like challenging Deep Blue to chess boxing. Deep Blue being the chess machine.
IBM, the IBM.
Yeah, I could beat it in a fight, is what I'm saying.
Not surprised at this group. Bad News Bears going on 5.
Yeah, less we say about that, the better.
That's going to be another matter that we take on another episode here.
Yeah.
Group B. Forza going 4-1 and G2 going 0-5.
Yeah, so the big surprise here was like game 1, Sinners beat G2, and it was like, oh shit, Sinners like really good. And then Sinners went 1-4 and G2 went 0-5. Like, oh right, G2 is just dog shit now. Like, although I will say, Nico had like a 1.17 on a team that went 0. They won one map and he had like a massively positive rank. Like, is he just cursed, or like does he just make his team? He just space jams everyone. Like, what the hell's going on?
I don't want to talk about G2 anymore.
I cannot possibly explain what went wrong. They're just awful. Just like their T sides are just appalling.
And they're looking at making moves.
Well, I fucking well imagine so.
They're looking at taking Jax out and putting Maka in.
Maka's legit, to be fair. Yeah,
correct. And you know what he is?
He's an
AWPer.
Yeah.
Which means it doesn't have to be Amanek anymore.
They'll put Amanek in Jack's role, and he can start to bottom frag instead.
Well, Jax will just be second op now because he's become the most cracked opper in EU in the meantime.
Well, I think Jax will go play for somebody else. I love Jax. I think he's great, but I don't know.
Go play for Double Pony. Or LDLC.
Yeah, they seem to help rejuvenate players' careers when they've got a bit wayward. He was a monster at points, Jax was, but he seems to have completely lost his mojo recently. I hope he can re-find it because he's a nasty player when he's on.
Group C. Surprises of this. To be honest, there weren't that many surprise. I mean, like EG going 0-5, we kind of all expected that.
Yeah, they were playing with Daps, right?
Yeah. The middle of this group, right? Mouse Sports Fnatic, FaZe Big. It was really close the whole time.
I'll say my surprise of the group was Mezzy.
Yeah.
So Mezzy looked like a decent player on Cloud9, a decent role player.
He's looked really.
He was the
good
highest. He was Fnatic's highest rated player as they got out the group. Like that was not something we saw from Mezzy on Cloud9. He was touted as and was playing as the fifth player in that team. Whereas on Fnatic, he's actually he's popping off. I really hope it stays that way because he's my boy. We're from in the same part of the country.
Group D, legitimately no surprises here.
Wow.
Other than Gary being the greatest player in the group.
Was this not EG's group?
No, this group D was the
OG's group. I meant OG's group.
No, we skipped. We
skipped OG. Oh yeah, sorry, that was Group B. Yeah.
The big story in Group B is G2 going 0-5. I mean, OG also went 5-0.
Yeah, that's. I guess it's not a surprise, but
it's not a surprise because they always do well in groups and then they fail out.
Yeah, we know what's coming. Yeah. Sorry, yeah, no, this group, pretty much went as expected. I guess Liquid are a little bit surprising. I didn't expect them to be this good.
I'm gonna be honest. As a Liquid fan, I also did not expect them to be that good.
Yeah, I expected them to be on par with maybe slightly worse than NIP, but they got a whole win over them.
Yeah, they got a win over them, and NIP was in very quick contention for maybe not making playoffs for a minute there.
Yeah. Unfortunately, if Furia had, I want to say their full roster, but actually that probably wouldn't have made a difference.
No, because Gary's just better than whoever they would replace him with.
Better than Drop. I've never seen Drop play, but
no, it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter. And can we please just get Malbs a real team? It's so sad watching him go out last in every group.
Can we start a GoFundMe for Malbs?
We need to get Twitter verified first.
This is what we got to do. We got to take Malbs, right? And we got to transport him to the United States and add him to Bad News Bears as the guy that actually gets frags on that team.
Well, yeah, I mean, he tends to entry for Team 1, which is just such a waste.
There we go.
Yeah, whereas you've got John G to do that at Bad News Bears, so you can actually follow him up.
Exactly, and then it gives Bad News Bears some firepower. This is a perfect idea.
Or EG.
I don't want him to go to EG. That's a cursed organization. Man.
Yeah, true. Yeah, you know what? You're right. It just ended up being another Mihu. I feel so bad for Mihu. He only joins dead rosters. It's so sad. I just wanted to join a team that's good and getting better instead of worse. I don't know if he's any good. It's just, it's so sad.
All right, first round of playoffs just finished. Which means that Liquid beat Fnatic 2-0.
Nice.
We take these dubs.
Just as I was talking about how good Mezzy was, he goes and loses to the US.
So Mezzy was keeping them in Dust 2.
I don't doubt it.
Insanely well. Other matches. And Speed Force. That was...
Yeah.
I don't know if that was surprising because it's Ents and Forza, which...
They were both the surprise package in their group. So one being better than the other doesn't either a 2-0 either way wouldn't have surprised me. I think this one probably slightly more likely. I will say for Force, the fact they replaced Exapower and seem to have found an even better version. I don't know what the CIS region does to AWPers, but all of them are just insane. Zorti would be a top 3 AWPer in most regions, and he's 5th or 6th in Russia. Yeah. It's insane. He's absolutely cracked, and he's just not even in contention for top 3.
Yeah. Liquid beat Fnatic, as I just said, in triple overtime on map 3 and map 2. Nip beat Mouse Sports, which expected.
Yeah, I don't know. Mouse Sports confuse me. I want them to be good, but they're kind of...
Mouse Sports doesn't confuse me. Acor confuses me.
Yeah, that's fair. He's an odd player.
I think Robs, Bimis, Frozen, they're all doing well. Bimis is doing very well recently.
Yeah.
I think Dexter has been doing as well as I think we all expected Dexter to do. Which is not a hit towards Dexter. It's just He's
Yeah,
not
I
a
mean, it's
super
going to
high,
take a while for him to get used to a different
and
set of players, but it's normal.
he's also not a super fraggy IGL. He's never been.
No.
It's just like so kind of expected. Um, Acor, I expected more from.
Yeah, I mean, the good news for Mouse Sports is if Acor does not improve, they have like the hottest young Orc prospect in the world on their academy team.
Yeah.
So like if Acor like doesn't do that well, you could just call up Torzy. You don't actually have to spend any more money. You just bring him
No.
into the first team. Just
You
like
just say you are now
strut your
Alec.
stuff, kid, because that kid's fucking mental.
Um, complexity vitality. I think I was a little surprised when I saw Vitality 2 on complexity. Um, a little
Complexity is they just anytime they're faced with a challenge, just like heroic failure,
bit.
it's normal. I really want this team to be good, but like they just never seem to be anyone good. It's infuriating. And they don't have their like full
Yeah,
roster.
they've got NATO right now, and they just got
Yeah.
a new coach in Peacemaker. And this is Peacemaker landing on his feet, by the way.
Yeah, always,
We didn't talk on Peacemaker always lands on his feet.
It's like buttered bread.
Buttered bread always lands on his feet.
Always lands butter side down, doesn't it? That's the saying.
Yeah, because physics, because it's heavy.
Yeah. No, but it's like it's like a cat. If a cat always lands on
Okay.
its feet, buttered bread always
Okay.
lands butter side down.
Okay. Okay. Do you have any predictions for what's going to happen in the rest of the playoffs, or who do we gotta we
did get a question, didn't we? And who wins Navi or Gambit?
I think my answer is neither.
Really?
Yeah.
You're gonna have to elaborate.
I'm going to elaborate. I need a
Who
minute
have you
to
got
pull the
beating
page
Navi?
back up.
I cannot. I'm not sure I can see Navi ever losing a game again. Like just simply just comfortably the best player in the world.
So here's the thing. I think Navi and Gambit are the best two teams in the tournament, but I feel like they're both going to do I feel like Navi's going to do something stupid against Ents.
Nah, there's no way. There's no way Simple lets his team lose to Ents. So you just know Simple just a straight up refuse to lose a game for about 3 months. he just doesn't care. His team can do whatever they want, and he will just win it anyway.
I feel like Navi's gonna do something stupid, and I couldn't tell you why. But
I can't see Navi losing to anyone.
And then I feel like Gambit's in a super vulnerable place.
Gambit, yeah, they seem to have hit their first sort of rocky patch. I'd be more confident in saying Gambit won't make the final than Navi won't win the final.
Yeah.
I'd be more confident in Vitality or OG reaching the final than Navi not winning it.
But not Nip. Nip's not going to reach the final.
Nah. I don't think so.
No, I'd actually agree with
I can't see NIP beating OG and then Gambit or Vitality in back-to-back. I just can't see. I think OG will beat them. I think Gambit Vitality is a spicy one.
I think Heroic Liquid's a spicy one, man.
Yeah, I think Liquid will win that, though.
So do I.
They look really strong at the moment. They look really strong. But then I do think Navi will just have too much for Liquid.
It's whatever Simple we see that day, man.
What do you mean? What Simple have we been seeing for the last 6 months?
I don't know, man.
I don't think he's gone negative in about a year. He's insane.
You're probably, what? I got a little bit of hope that we won't see a Gambit or Navi.
Simple's rating for the past 3 months is 1.35.
Okay, that's
1.3. He's absolutely insane.
That's like Nico on Mouse Sports levels.
Okay, he did have a bad game against EG somehow.
Against EG?
Yeah, he's gone negative in about. Since the start of June, he's gone negative in 8 maps. 3 of those were -1. And I think he only lost. He's only lost 2 of the maps he's gone negative in as well. The guy is 3, I think, 3 or 4. But I just cannot see Simple letting his team lose to Ents. Ents have been really good, but Navi are a different fucking beast, dude. Like, they are the end boss.
You know what? I've been right about weirder things before,
Yeah,
and I'm
I
sticking with
mean,
it right now.
I'm talking myself into looking like an idiot, but I just cannot bet against Simple. I can't do it. He's the greatest player I've ever seen.
All right, all right. We got questions. We actually have we have questions today. This was a
Yes.
surprising thing to me, considering I put this out this morning. And also when I made my original tweet, I totally just added you and didn't actually make a tweet.
Yeah, it's fine. What we got?
All right. So I've been asked how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood. Um, to which the answer is a lot.
Probably. I'm not actually sure what a
I,
woodchuck is.
I think
I'm
it's
gonna,
like
I'm
a
gonna have to
badger.
Google it and have a look at it, see what it actually looks like, and see how much I reckon it could pick up. Because one thing, I started going to the gym last week, and one thing
Oh,
I
it's a
realized is
groundhog. It's the same thing.
okay. One thing I realized is that if you don't pick things up regularly, you cannot lift things.
No.
My arms do not work. I am a big fucking dude, and I cannot lift shit, and it's miserable. So like, I don't know, woodchucks, they probably run around a lot. They're probably quite strong, but like they're quite little. There's probably not a whole lot of wood they can chuck.
It depends on how big the wood is.
Well, yeah, and like what counts as a chuck? Like if they just sort of like throw it
If
like
they just like,
this far in
eh,
front of them,
yeah, does that count
yeah,
as a
like
chuck or is
does
it?
that count as a chuck? There's a lot
Yeah,
of
I mean,
there's a
like,
lot of questions. We need to be we need to be more
be more-
diligent. Ask questions back. If we really want to answer the, you know how big? Yeah,
all right.
they're not throwing a plank. That's for sure.
Uh, our lovely graphic designer Jack has told us to fix OG. I guess it's not
First
really
of
a
all,
question.
that's not a question.
Yeah, really.
Second of all, I don't know, like Heimlich maneuver, something like that.
I
Stop them
mean,
choking in playoffs.
maybe they'll get their chance in a minute because if Nico goes because of Hunden things, maybe they'll get a new other player, and maybe
Maybe
that
they
will be
get
the key.
Hunden.
Don't even say that.
I don't know. I wonder what he's going to do now. That should have been a question. Somebody should have asked us what's
No, he's
Hunden's next
so no
job.
no no. So I
He's
saw this the other
definitely
day.
politician, right?
I saw this the other day, and it's like in Denmark because Counter Strike is so huge, right? He's not going to be able to go and get a regular job. Like that's not going to be a thing because they're going
Yeah.
to recognize him as the guy who cheated in
And then
Counter-Strike.
ratted his teammates out.
Like, how can you ever be trusted with a job ever again?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he could always just move somewhere else in Europe. Nobody would recognize him in England.
I mean, he could do the
whether or not you want to live in England is a completely different matter.
He could do what happens when you're bad at the game, which is what I did, which is just become a content creator slash.
Yeah, but who's gonna?
commentators.
I mean, I guess Dazed still had fans when he streamed, but
Well, not even just content creator. You can become an analyst.
he
hiring
on. Nobody. You can only have him on for
Sick.
heroic games. Like
Esic will hire Hunden because now he knows how people operate.
it's like when tech companies hire hackers.
Yeah.
Esic are gonna hire a fucking scumbag. He knows scumbags better than anyone else. He's got more experience in this field. He knows exactly how to abuse bugs. That's the kind of knowledge we need.
Oh my. Oh god. Okay. So we're not going to fix OG. Sam has given us 2 questions.
Oh yeah, I forgot that was the question. I don't know. Get MSL instead of Alexi B. There you go.
How do you think Lucky will fit into the Astralis system, and do you think they can be a top roster, especially with Zip more on the bench as a sub in rather than a starter as at this point?
We don't know what the Astralis system is because there's going to be Lucky, Glaive, Bobsky, and then like 2 randoms. I think the rest of them are off. That's the rumor anyway. I mean, the rumor is that the
Dupree and Majesk, yeah.
Dupree and Majesk. No, I mean, I heard a rumor that Glaive was meant to leave with them, and they were a little bit annoyed that he decided to stay, but he decided to stay for personal reasons. So like, I don't
I
think
mean,
you
he's
begrudge him
literally
too
having
much.
a
Yeah,
kid.
like,
Like, if
yeah,
you're having a
exactly.
kid, you need. This is the res conversation we had earlier, right? Like, it's
Yeah,
job security for you're having a kid.
and he doesn't have to move house.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to any event. I'm joking. Um,
Uh, so lucky for the Australis system. I
I'm
think
not sure what the
lucky.
Astralis system is, but I mean,
Yeah,
if there's anyone who can turn a decent Orpa into a great one, it's Glaive.
it's Glaive and Sonic. Yeah.
Um,
Though I
the
think
rest of the
Sonic
team.
is also probably leaving, but that's a separate matter.
Oh yeah, Zonic's leaving definitely.
Yeah. He's got to write a book somewhere else.
Yeah, I've been meaning to read his book, and I've just never
So
got
have
around
I.
to it. I read half of Zeus's book, and then just like forgot to read the other half. Happens, you know.
Um, question about the NIP roster. We're only asking device-related questions today. What do you guys think the issue with the NIP roster is of late, and how could the issues be fixed? Do we think ZTR was better than Linus?
I would like to ask what "as of late" means because
They haven't been
team
good.
hasn't been good since like 1945. Like,
They won that one IEM Oakland like 4 years
true.
ago.
Yeah, you're right. No, yeah, true. That was like when everyone thought Rez was going to be like the best player. Well, not the best player in the world, but like he looked like an absolute superstar at that tournament. And then he was like, he's been good since, but
Yeah, he hasn't been the best
never
player in
hit
the
those
world.
heights yet. Do we think ZTR was better than LNZ? I'm not sure I could tell you the difference.
I think that, as
I
we've
think
been
they should
saying
get a
for the
fifth.
last 3 months, that they should get another player.
Yeah.
That's the standard player.
I don't
Hunden's
know what
available.
Nork has done wrong. I don't know why he's having to play like qualifiers with Lobanjica. I don't know what I don't know what Nork's done wrong. Like just like the guy is so good and just nobody wants him, and I don't know why.
You know what? I think they could pick up Hunden. That's perfect place for it.
They should pick up I don't know, Rush or something. That'd be kind of fun. That'd be a fun one.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'd be any good, but it'd be fun.
No, but it'd be fun
I
to
like
watch.
Rush, and I just I just want him to land on his feet.
I
don't know.
Last question from this tweet. We have 3 tweets worth of questions we have to look at. So
yeah, we didn't
think this through very well. No. Rops to phase question mark? Nah, but for real, who feels the loss of Void when he drops inevitably? Zipnix.
I think, yeah, Zipnix or Dupree seems like the obvious answer. I mean, Phase Magisk has a nice ring to it.
It does.
And he's kind of a stable player in a similar sense. So maybe that would work. I mean, those seem like the obvious answers. They like a big name player. Just get one of the Astralis boys.
Yeah.
I hope Rops doesn't go to phase. He's too good for that.
Well, it's not that he's too good for that. It's that Twists and Rops, they don't stand in the exact same place, but they stand damn close to the same place.
Yeah.
Like in what they do and what they provide to a team, and adding another Twists, as much as that's like actually kind of offensive to Rops, like adding another Twists doesn't make that team better.
I mean, I think adding Rops to any team makes them better. But
yes, but like in a grand scheme of things, adding more aimbots to a team doesn't make the team necessarily better. We saw that happen with Liquid. Liquid added more and more aimbots,
and they were the second best team in the world. What do you mean?
Yeah, and then they fell off.
Wait, I think FaZe would probably take second best team in the world, then fall off.
They did that already.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. But they'd like to get back.
They lost a major to North America.
Yeah, but they'd probably take that now over, like, you know, like fathering, like dragging Olofmeister through retirement. Poor guy just wants to go home and chew on some Werther's originals, and they're like forcing him to play Counter-Strike.
He's not even 30, man. He's not even 30. Faris is like 31, 32, and he's still playing on Dignitas. He's loving every moment of it.
I will dunk at anyone older than me. This is a space full of young people. I'm considered old in this.
I don't think I told you about this. I was on a broadcast in early August, right? A Valorant broadcast. And I was on the desk, and it was me, who was 20, my co-caster, who was 21, my co-analyst, I was on analyst desk, and the host, who was like 24, 25, and the casting desk. I don't know if you know TJ.
No,
But
I don't.
he cast League and some other stuff. But TJ, who's like 20, and the other caster was like 17, and we were called the Boomer Desk because all of us were over 20 years old. I was like, you're kidding me, right? Like, I'm
No, I'm
20.
not. I'm not having that. I mean, I've got to dunk on people like 5 years older than me. What choice have I got?
All right. We have a football question for you.
Yeah. It was Demir or Doku. I personally prefer Demir as he's more consistent in front of goal, although the initial pace of Doku can be a reliable commodity. I know who Doku is. I had to look up Demir, so I can't say I've watched much of him. But Doku is lightning quick, and I do like a quick player. It's always more exciting to watch. So by virtue of me having heard of him, I'm going to go Jeremy Doku.
Okay, and then finally, the last question we have is how do we spell ball? Which
we've had this question
before,
and I didn't get it then.
BOWL. Like,
yeah, it doesn't really work when it's written either. Like, it's written a question.
Like, it's right there. Like, how else do you want me to spell it? All right. Yeah. Well,
the bumper episode.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning into Overtime and Inferno. Please make sure to follow us on Twitter at ReadTLDR, at Aizyesque, and at Logan Ramhap. We will see you again next week when we have a winner for ESL Pro League and probably 7 more episodes in the Hunden scandal.
It's not big. Spoilers.
See you, everyone.